Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, cryptocurrency community. Hello, Kraken Crypto members and enthusiasts. Welcome to the Kraken Crypto Hour. I am your host, Jay Wise Free. Thank you for joining me today on this February 20th, 2018. All right, guys, got some exciting stuff coming up. Today is episode 1, so today is the official beginning of our YouTube public videos. In the past, we've made lots of private, unlisted videos that we then made later public, and those have been geared toward our Kraken Crypto members, people who are part of our service. But we want to start reaching out to the larger community. We want to start making our public YouTube videos and talking about interesting and upcoming things in the crypto space, things that we're excited about, trades that we're taking, investments that we're making. So this is episode 1 entitled Fork All the Coins. Today we're going to be talking about sporks and forks. Now I couldn't fit any other kitchen sink analogies into there. I couldn't get butter knives, I couldn't get steak knives, bread knives, platters, none of that. Just sporks and forks. We're going to be talking about the Ethereum Classic airdrop for CLO. We're also going to be talking about the Z Classic and Bitcoin Spork for Bitcoin Private. So stay tuned. We're going to cover all that stuff coming up. Plus, we're going to go over some things I like, and exciting things coming up, a couple different charts, and we're going to talk about what I think is one of the most exciting things, which is the possibility that mining power will massively redistribute itself from Ethereum to Ethereum Classic. So, first off, make sure you guys go ahead and give that like button a big press. Press that thumbs up button. Go ahead and like this video. Subscribe to our channel. Click that little alarm button so you get notified when we make new videos. Come over here to the website, krakencryptocurrency.com. Check out the team. Check out what we're doing. You can catch all our latest blog posts. You can catch our Steemit articles. You can see what trades we're making. You can see what we're charting, what we're seeing. You can join the community and talk in the Discord. You can talk on the message board that is up there for our forum support that we're working on right now. And just let us know what kind of content you guys want from us moving forward. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into this, and we're going to start off with Ethereum Classic and the CLO airdrop. Now, I do want to mention that that contrary to popular opinion or popular perception, the CLO airdrop is not a hard fork. It is not using the process that true hard forks follow, and this isn't some kind of elitist thing. The actual reality is that it's not like the Ethereum Classic project wants to split, or there's a disagreement over blockchain size or hashing algorithm or proof of stake, proof of work, nothing like that. What this is a revitalization of the Ethereum Commonwealth project. Now all these links will be down in the show notes below, but the first thing you can do is go over here to github.com/Ethereum Commonwealth, and you can see all the original information for what is now going to become the CLO airdrop, is the Ethereum Commonwealth project. Now, I did email Dexaram. He hasn't gotten back to me, but if he does, with some answers to the questions that I sent him, nothing negative. I just, asked him, reached out to him, see if he wanted to comment on the video we were going to make. Now, if he does comment back, I'll make another a secondary follow-up to this with his response, and maybe we can get him on and do an interview. That would be great. But here on the GitHub repo for Ethereum Commonwealth, you can find their Ether wallet, their Go Callisto. This is going to be their implementation for the Ethereum protocol, this Go, which is now going to be Callisto. You can find their Blockchain Explorer, Classic Mask, which is the classic version of MetaMask, their multi-sig information, the faucet if you're using their testnet, all this good information on their cold staking. So if you're interested in the CLO token from a tech perspective, or you want to understand or look at the code, this is where you're going to want to go check out. Now, switching over here, I found this site. This is the Ethereum Classic forum, but I found this thread. This is the Callisto network information, create new topic and ask away. So you can just get on here, create a new topic. If you have a question, that new topic will be created down here, and your answer will hopefully be, your question will hopefully be answered. Now, it does say right here, just like I said, please note that Callisto is developed solely by Ethereum Commonwealth and is unaffiliated with the other ETC development teams. So I just want people to be aware that they're not buying a real Ethereum Classic hard fork. They're buying a sort of clever ICO, disguised as a hard fork, really an airdrop of a revitalized old token. So you can see here they've got the information. Their proof of work algorithm that they're going to be using is Dagger Hashimoto, or the F hash. a block interval of 15 seconds, the block reward of 600 CLO with a 30% treasury fee. Their maximum supply will be 6.5 bill, that's with a B, billion CLO. That says here that Callisto's primary goal is to boost the growth and the adoption of Ethereum Classic as a community and as a platform. Such, excuse me, cold season. Such as important goals for us, we have research, define, and develop a reference implementation of cold staking protocol, built-in government system, and self-funding mechanism. Improve the security level of the whole Ethereum Classic and Callisto ecosystem with official auditing team and secure contracts registry, and research experimental possibilities of scaling and cross-chain interaction. Now, they've actually done quite a bit of work with the Callisto. It's ready to roll out. The testnet is being pretty heavily used. So I think this is going to be a fairly decent project, and it's not like it's going to cost you anything to get in. Now, I am long on Ethereum Classic, but so I have been holding my Ethereum Classic for quite a while, and we are up quite a bit since I first entered into Ethereum Classic. But there's a couple ways to look at this. If you're just looking to trade this short term and you're not in this for the long term, I recommend. Well, again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Take everything I say with a grain of salt and a hefty dose of do your own research. But I am holding Ethereum Classic for the long term. I am very confident in Ethereum Classic moving forward. Definitely breaking its all-time highs. It is on sale right now, as are many of our of the core alts that I've invested into. I have definitely been purchasing all the way down as we have corrected, and it's been nice moving back up and seeing the portfolio grow. Although I am in this for the long term, guys. Be a long-term thinker. Think 5 years in the future. Don't think 5 minutes in the future. But with respect to hard forks and airdrops, I think it is a mistake to try to chase them to get the free airdrop, because what usually happens is that a project gets pumped up in anticipation before an airdrop, and then it gets dumped on before the actual airdrop, and then after the airdrop everybody's already scrambling to get out. But the big traders who were just trading it for the quick profits, not the long-term investment, they already dumped on you. So while you already had moved your coins off an exchange or from one wallet to another in anticipation of the hard fork, you got to watch the price plummet a nice 40-50%, and now you get to get caught up in this massive downswing of trying to get out faster than everybody else while you're trying to dump your tokens because all you wanted was this free stuff, and you end up losing a lot more money than you probably would have made. So I don't like the idea of chasing hard forks. There are certain ones that I have been guilty of doing. Good example is the NXT IGNIS airdrop, IGNIS is something that I like. NXT is something that I like, but now I'm going to be sitting on that for quite a while. Now, I didn't lose a lot of money. I just lost profit because I definitely had been holding NXT at a lower price before the pump, so I was still able to get out of profit. But, looking back in retrospect, I would have made much more money just trading the top, or, eating the body and leaving the head and tail, obviously, trading strategy. But I definitely would have made more money trying to catch the upper level of that and dumping before the airdrop rather than holding just to get my IGNIS. So, but we'll see moving forward. I've got a nice little bag of IGNIS now, so we'll see how that plays out in the future. So, if you were looking to trade this, however, since I am long on Ethereum Classic, if you were trying to catch this before the rise, we have a little bit of room left to go before the airdrop. I believe it's on March 3rd or March 5th is when that snapshot will be taken. Again, you can go back to the website and check for sure. But looking at this on the daily chart, traded against Bitcoin on Bittrex, we see a chart formation here typically known as 3 rising valleys, where we see 3 higher highs and 3 lower lows. And this is a nice bullish signal, especially as it comes at the very end, right down here in this accumulation phase, based off its all-time highs. So this is nice to see. The traditional way to trade this would be to enter on the breakout of the high of the last valley, and to set your stop loss below the most recent swing low. Now, a price target is generally found by measuring from the bottom of the valley to the top, which gives us a high target of 0064, which would make this typically my target zone for the breakout trade. Now, if you went all the way up to the top, you're looking at a 60% plus, 66% trade with a risk factor of about 20%. So that's that 1 to 3 that I try to look for in my trading, risk management. So I think that is a very nice potential opportunity. However, you know, buying here is risky because you don't know if this formation is going to break down just based on traditional trading. Now, again, I am bullish on ETC for the long term. I'm holding my ETC while off an exchange. I'm going to get the airdrop. You know, it might dump for the airdrop. I recommend that if you're just purely trading this, you're probably going to make more money riding the wave up than you're going to make off the CLO tokens. I don't know how much they're going to debut for, but it's always very easy to get on one of these smaller exchanges and pick up some of these smaller coins on the cheap rather than buy these very large and relative prices for these larger tokens trying to chase these forks. So that's all I'll say about the Ethereum Classic CLO airdrop. Again, links in the show notes down below. Check it out. Now, moving forward, what I'd like to talk about is Ethereum Classic as kind of, I guess you would say, fuel to my concepts that they are going to be a good bullish pick for the long term. And I would like to give a shout out to Money Triggs on the Twitter, and Adam Meister over at the World Crypto Network for turning me on to this. Now, I had been hearing for quite a while that when Ethereum switched over to proof of stake as opposed to proof of work, that a lot of the mining hashing power would switch over to Ethereum Classic. I know that some people had posited that it is possible that there would be a third fork, kind of a modern Ethereum proof of stake and then modern Ethereum proof of work, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's far more likely that the mining power just switches over to the existing Ethereum Classic network and starts mining on that with its you know, identical algorithm. So but there's a couple cool rumors that Money Triggs was talking about, which I think is really great, and I didn't know. So we're going to go over here to, I looked up some articles on the internet to kind of verify what he's talking about. BTCmanager.com is talking about the Ethereum Classic, a summit that occurs once a year. This last year it occurred in Hong Kong. And Jihan Wu, co-founder of Bitcoin mining behemoth Bitmain, was in attendance at the Ethereum Classic Summit. This right on the heels that he released his ASICs in September that mined Ethereum, and by extension Ethereum Classic. I think that is very telling, very interesting that Jihan Wu is rubbing elbows with these guys from Ethereum Classic. I think that he's getting his miners all prepped up and ready to take the market for that. Ethereum, which has traditionally been mined by GPU miners. So that's interesting. More interesting is if you go over here to metronome.io, which is Jeff Garczyk's ICO that he launched through Block Labs, which is Jeff Garczyk's project. You might remember Jeff Garczych from the New York Agreement and SegWit2x and all that drama, which Jihan Wu, Roger Ver, all those people were very intertwined with. They're all in bed together. But if you look down here, now Metronome is a cross-chain concept, but Q1 2018, the first cross-chain launch is going to be on Ethereum Classic, not Ethereum, Ethereum Classic. I think that's very telling, especially with how close Jeff Garczych and Jihan Wu are. Now, coming over here to technews.cn, which is a Chinese website. This is the translator, that's why it's horrendous, but this is the original source. You can go over here to news.8btc.com. Again, links in the show notes down below, guys. And this is, all that article is talking about is that in the second quarter of 2018, Bitmain is going to release the F3 Ethereum ASIC miner, which is going to have 72 gigabytes of DDR3 DRAM. This is going to be pretty big. This is going to take, I mean, you know, GPU mining on Ethereum Classic is going to go the way of the dinosaur if these miners come out and hit the markets like they are, especially with competition coming from Samsung on the chip development. I'm really interested to see where this goes. So just for those, you know, buy the rumor, sell the news, guys. Ethereum Classic, I think, is going to see very, very, very big growth potential, especially if any of these rumors come to fruition. Otherwise, it's a really good project, even if it doesn't. But I think that, you know, Ethereum is definitely talking about proof of stake. It's not just an idea. Vitalik's talked about it. They are developing Casper. Casper, it's done. It's been worked on. It's coming. It's going to come sometime. And when that happens, all these miners are not just going to be like, oh, cool, we're just staking. No, they're going to switch over and they're going to mine something else. And they're probably going to mine Ethereum Classic. They're all set up to do it. It's the same hashing algorithm. Why wouldn't they? I want to talk briefly about Bitcoin Private, BTCP. Now, this is the spork that I was talking about. So, whereas we don't really have, I said we were going to talk about forks and sporks in this episode. We didn't really talk about a fork. I said that the Ethereum Classic CLO drop was not a fork. It's more like a little clever ICO wrapped up in a revitalized project. Except that, unlike an ICO, they're not doing a token sale. But a Bitcoin private is a spork. It is a combining of two different chains, or a splitting of two different chains, however you want to look at it. But it is the combination of Z Classic and Bitcoin. So both Z Classic holders and Bitcoin holders will receive equal amounts relative to their holdings in Z Classic and Bitcoin. So if you have 20 Z Classic tokens, you'll get 20 Bitcoin privates. If you have 20 Bitcoins, you'll get 20 Bitcoin privates. So obviously the math there is that, hey, Z Classic is $200, Bitcoin is 11,000, so let's buy some Bitcoin private. Now, I will say that I listened to a good podcast with Giuseppe Stetto over on the Let's Talk Bitcoin episode 356. I thought that was a really, really good podcast to listen to. I would recommend checking that out if you don't know a lot about Bitcoin private. I will say that I like the Bitcoin private team. I like the way they're doing this in a decentralized manner. They're not centralized. This is a legitimate project. It's kind of building off some of the implementations of Zero Cash protocol that Zcash and its fork Z Classic brought to light. I like the idea of a more private blockchain. I like the idea of private transactions, and I think that Bitcoin has the legs, the team, and the development to really be a good competitor to things like Monero and definitely shitcoins like Verge. So check out btcprivate.org. Do your research, read the white paper. I think this is, us Bitcoin holders, we're going to get Bitcoin private. We got our Bitcoin Cash, our Bitcoin Gold, our Bitcoin Diamond, our all that. We got all those crazy airdrops. I was able to I caught the Bitcoin Diamond pump on Binance. I was able to off mine for 700%. That was a very, very good trade. Now, same thing. So we're going to talk about chasing Z Classic for the fork, which I don't think is a good idea and is even a much worse idea in the case of Z Classic. If we take a look historically here, you can see that Z Classic dropped on Bittrex, had a accumulation period of quite a while, a little pop, breakdown of the accumulation period, had quite a nice significant run up here, and then a peak back in the summer or early summer of 2017, and then quite a quick crash, and then a very long consolidation period up until about December, late 2017, early 2018, when funnily enough, a lot of people started talking, included Adam Meister over the World Crypto Network, started talking about Z Classic, and we just went on this massive bull run. And I think the bull run's over. Bitcoin private is going to happen on February 28th. That's about a week away. We might see another little leg up, but I would definitely say that if you missed the train, the train has blown on by. And the reason why is because you do not want to be left holding Z Classic after the fork. This thing is going to dump, and it's going to dump hard. The reason being is if we go over to the Bitcoin private website, let's see here. Let me get rid of that team. Just go to the main site. If we scroll down, and they say what will happen with Z Classic. Z Classic and its wallets will still exist. Z Classic nodes will be supported post-fork. However, as mentioned in the past, there will be no current active development for Z Classic, as the current dev team will shift 100% focus to Bitcoin private development. Anyone from the community will still be able to build on Z Classic if they wish. So there's going to be no active development. All the wisdom and all the development is going to go into this new project, Bitcoin private. This thing's going the way of the dinosaurs, guys. You do not want to be caught holding this shitcoin when it goes all the way down here. You don't want that. So if you missed the train on Z Classic, I would just leave it alone. The reason being is because if we look at it in USD value, if we look at it calculated in USD value, it's trading at about $162 right now, relative on Bittrex to Bitcoin. And we topped over here at about 260. If you believe the Bitcoin private will list at more than $162, then maybe buy some, but you need to also take into account that by the time that fork happens over the course of the next week, and by the time you can get your Z Classic back onto an exchange, if you're not sitting in front of your computer day by day, this thing is going to dump because all the people that are faster than you are going to be selling off. So you're going to buy here, you're probably going to end up selling down here, so you're going to lose quite a bit there, and then you're going to have to, so Bitcoin Private's going to have to debut at this price plus your losses from buying in wherever you buy in, because I guarantee you by the time you sell it, it will be worth less than what you bought it for. And that is just the nature of how this is going to go down. You know, we saw Bitcoin Cash debut fairly high. We saw Bitcoin Gold debut around, what, $300, $200. And then, you know, the next one, Bitcoin Diamond, debut significantly lower than that. Bitcoin Private, although I think that it is one of the best that I've seen since Bitcoin Gold and how it was put together and how it was done, and how professional it's being done with, I'm still skeptical on its release of price. So I think that it's far more economical. I would wait and see what happens with the markets. I know these things move fast, but there's always spikes and dips in accumulation phases. So, you know, if you're looking to accumulate Bitcoin Private on the cheap, I don't think that you're missing out not trying to chase this hard fork when it's far, far too late. Now, if you had got in here, you've been holding Z Classic for quite a while, you were mining it or whatever, then great, awesome. I mean, you're up already quite a bit. Hold on to that. Get your free Bitcoin Private and then dump, because you're still going to be up however much. But if you're looking at this now, the ship has sailed. The ship has sailed. Stay away from Z Classic if you're not already holding it. All right, two more things that I want to talk about real quick, and then I'll go ahead and end this. So the first thing that I want to talk about is Mimblewimble and Grin. For those of you who don't know, Mimblewimble is a blockchain protocol based on privacy and scalability, and it's based upon elliptical curve cryptography. Now, I'm not going to lie, a lot of this elliptical curve cryptography and a lot of how Mimblewimble works and a lot of how Grin works goes well over my head, and I'm a pretty smart guy. But I do, what I do understand, I do like the idea in a nutshell, and I'm going to mangle this. I'm sure that somebody could explain this much better than me and maybe say that I'm maybe explaining it wrong. But from what I understand, the idea behind Mimblewimble, from a privacy aspect, is that you don't need to know the value of any particular transaction and able to verify it. So that means that, you know, if you look at the Bitcoin blockchain, you can look and see that X amount of Bitcoin was sent to this address and X amount was sent to, you know, and you can just see all the amounts and all the balances. With Grin, you won't be able to. Now, Grin is an entirely new, separate new blockchain. Now, Mimblewimble was originally developed with Bitcoin in mind, but this is the first real-world application of Mimblewimble, and all the way that Mimblewimble works, the cryptography and the technology under the hood, is highly experimental. Never really been used before, so Grin is a project that is trying to bring this out and test its viability. I think that it is viable. I think that it's a great project. I'm excited about it. This isn't like a token sale or any get-rich-quick scheme. I'm just purely excited by the tech and the ability that it has to bring more privacy to the blockchain ecosphere. So check out their website, grin-tech.org. You can get on their testnet if you can compile their source code, their code from source. You can get on Gitter and talk to them. They're pretty active. And you can check out, I would recommend checking out these documentations, especially Grin for Bitcoiners. Some of it might be a little bit over your head, but I guarantee you that if you stick with it and read that whole thing through, even if you don't understand the math, it will make you a better Bitcoiner. It will make you a smarter person. Let's see here. Talked about that. The Polyswarm ICO went live today at 1 p.m. Central Time American. There are 29 days left until the public sale ends on March 22nd. If you hurry, you can get the 20% bonus cap, maybe? You know, this is not financial advice. We don't tend to shill ICOs here. I do like Polyswarm. I do like the concept behind it. I like the team. Do your own research. Check it out if it's something that you're interested in. If you're into getting into ICOs, check that out if you want, polyswarm.io. Now, the last thing that I want to wrap this up with, I was going to do things that I hate, but then I realized that what I was looking at, you know, I had heard that Jackie Chan was doing public service announcements for the Chinese Communist government, and I was kind of appalled by that. But, you know, looking into a little bit of Jackie Chan's history, he's kind of spoken openly about, you know, supporting, you know, obviously it's controversial, but I believe in freedom, and I believe in promoting freedom across the world, and I don't think that any justifications that freedom is not a goal, imparted upon us by the universe, I think is complete bollocks. I'm not going to hold any weight in you saying that, well, our customs are important, or this is important, or something's too important. No, freedom is important. Life is important. Liberty is important. That's what's important. Not any particular bureaucracy, not any particular government, not any particular social network. Freedom is important. But I couldn't find any videos of him or any links to that. Just an old Guardian article talking about him saying that he's like, well, the Great Firewall of China is necessary because the people sometimes need to be controlled and all this. And I was like, I don't like that. But I'm going to go to something that I like. So I just finished reading Neil Ferguson's The Square and the Tower, Networks and Power from the Freemasons to Facebook. I highly recommend that you check this book out. It was a great read. It's interesting how, I've been the more I delve into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, that, you read about nodes and you read about networks, you read about interactions, trustlessness, money, and what's interesting is that this book focuses on the social network as a disruptive power in society, and then he correlates 16th century Europe with modern day America, looking at the differences in impact from the printing press and the internet to disrupt and bring innovation and change to our lives as human beings. One thing that I definitely took away from the book was that the larger and broader your social network becomes, the more polarized individual actors within that network become. And you can see this on Twitter. You can see that the people that get the most retweets, the most likes, the most comments, the most controversial, the most loud, the most, I don't want to say profane, but because it's not always that. It's just picking a polarized viewpoint and then hitting that hard and living that gimmick. That is what makes you really popular on the social media, and that's what gives you a rabid following, and gives you a very strong fan base, and gets you a large platform to speak and express your views, which creates more polarization, which begets more polarization. And it's just a very interesting way that this is a leftover part of our hominid brain, and this is just how the social network impacts human society. So highly recommend checking that book out. Always keep your mind strong. Always try to be better tomorrow than you are today. Always strive to improve. Always try to understand things that you don't. Strive to learn. Strive to do better. Strive to be better. Guys, I have been your host, Jay Wise Free. I highly appreciate you taking this time to check out our video. Again, please check out the website at crackingcryptocurrency.com. You can follow me on Twitter at JustinWiseFree or on Steemit at JWiseFree. Hit that like button, guys. Give us those thumbs up. Spread the message. Share this video. Subscribe to this channel. And just share what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build a community of cryptocurrency traders, investors, blockchain enthusiasts, crypto enthusiasts, people who really want to change the world and be a part of a project and a group of people who are like-minded and are in this to help each other and grow together. So with that said, thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Stay wise.